Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be fun. I was completely stumped on what to do this week because the Procreate course launched this week. I couldn't do a day in the life because honestly my days in the life have been pretty boring. It's just been doing like technical stuff and just being like there to answer questions, and today I got to sleep in, which was amazing. Both of my kids, my husband had school today, so he got to take them to school. It was amazing. So today I thought it would be fun. Last night on Instagram, I put a little poll for, not a poll, a question box for you guys to tell me assumptions about me. And I was kind of nervous because I was like, there could be some trolls in there, but you guys are really nice. So I got some pretty good assumptions that I would love to talk about to show you I'm a normal person. And I think that's what a lot of these are going to do. They're going to, like, I want to be as transparent as possible because I know the platforms people have make people think that their lives is just magical, and it's not. Rocky, if you hear stuff, it's my dog. Anywho, so I have them all saved on my camera roll. I know I'm gonna get asked about these stickers, and they are from Ashton Creates. Slapped them on my phone case. I love her so much. She's my bestie. She's my soul sister. We're gonna meet this year, especially if you're listening, Ashton. We're gonna meet. Anywho, let's get started with these assumptions. Okay, the first one is, I'm not going to mention the names. They're going to be anonymous. They say, you are so busy you don't get as much time with your kids as you would like. Yes. This is sometimes can be a triggering topic for me because I do have such mom guilt. Like, just for a back reference, I was a stay-at-home mom for a little over 3 years. With my daughter and my son. My daughter was my firstborn. So I was a stay-at-home mom, and that's just all I knew. And then my daughter started her first year of pre-K at the August that she was 3, but she was going to turn 4 that fall. So she was still really young, but that's when they allowed it. And she was just at that age where I could tell she needed some sort of guided interaction, and she really wanted to go. For those who don't know, also, I have a lot of nieces and nephews that are a lot older than my daughter Elena. So like, she was seeing all of them go to school, and it was just a time where she was like, I want to go. So she went to pre-K the first year. She's still there today. This is her last year. She starts kindergarten in fall. Okay. Well, she left, and that was the first time like I felt like, okay, she's loving it. And I got a sense of like it was a stay-at-home mom life for me forever, or this is right when my business started picking up. So like, for reference to the summer before she went to pre-K, that's when my Instagram blew up. So when we had enrolled her in pre-K, like, I was still like a small Instagram account, booking client to client for like logo designing, and like, I was struggling with income from my business. So that's where we were at when we enrolled her. So when I enrolled her and I had so much more on my plate, it was kind of nice because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I feel like a working mom in a way. And then I had my son, who was 1.5. That's a hard age. I love him to death, but he's just a go get him boy. Like, he's challenging, but I love him. He has the like same mentality as my husband, where if he wants something, he's gonna get it, and I love it. It's just hard when you're like stay-at-home mom and you're working from home. So that fall we decided to enroll. This was the fall before my husband deployed for a year, the next year, 2020. And so the fall of 2019, we enrolled him in part-time daycare. He loved it. We switched to 2 daycares because I just wasn't happy with the first one. And then a second one where we used to live, we had one on our street, like a daycare that I always wanted to go to, and it was amazing, but they never had spots open. Well, this is a February before Corona, they fully opened for a full spot for his age, and I knew I just wasn't going to be able to find that anywhere. But it was literally right by my house. Like, I walked to go get him most days. So it was amazing. We love them so much. We moved again, and now he's in a different daycare, which we love. We love them too. They're close as well. But all in that to say, I wanted to give you a backstory just to show you that, like, I wasn't always, like, my kids weren't always in daycare. This is still something I'm learning. But guys, the mom guilt will eat you up, mamas. But I know for my kids, they absolutely adore the interaction they get. And I've been able to grow my business so much and become more of a working mom that I never thought I would be. And when I feel guilty about, if I start to feel guilty that I'm not spending time with my kids, I take that as a moment, as a like sign from either God or just me saying, okay, Audrey, we don't need to do a lot of work at night tonight. We need to watch a movie with the kids. We need to do this and make sure they're known. And make sure maybe today after I pick them up after school, I'm not going to rush home to pack orders. I'm going to go to Target with my daughter and spend time with her, get her nails done, things like that. I think it's important you don't want to feel guilty that you're not spending every waking moment with your children, because if you're doing something for yourself that's benefiting your family and you're doing something you love, they see that. And that's what I try to think of, is I'm building a better life for my children, their future, being smart about their future, as well as I want them to look back and see how hard I worked for what I built from the ground up. But that's when you have to make sure you balance it, because I also want them to see how much I wanted to spend time with them and how much I made time for them. So I hope that answers your question. I used to struggle really bad with feeling guilty about it. But now if I start to get those feelings, I've been a lot better at cutting off boundaries and being like, okay, no Instagram tonight, no business tonight. I'm going to spend time with my kiddos. Sip it first before this next one. Okay, this next one is so funny. And I'm so excited to say it's not true. Somebody said, you're not good at Adobe Illustrator. That is not true. I started on Photoshop and Illustrator in high school, and that's what I did in my business majorly before I got my iPad for 3 years. So 5 years in total with high school counting. But just want to say that I still use Adobe Illustrator Day when I'm printing greeting cards, prints. I love Adobe Illustrator, and I can proudly say that I know it as well as Photoshop. So for those who don't know, I used to be a photographer too. So Photoshop, Lightroom, I've always been an Adobe nerd. So I'm very happy to say that assumption is not true. Okay, the next one says, you have always been strong in your faith. This is not true. I think I struggle the most with faith. I don't know if it's my anxiety fighting me on that. It's the enemy, obviously. But I struggle with thinking the worst case scenario and thinking that's what God has planned. Not what God has planned for me, but like I just have to accept it. Like, this always happens to me. I'm so bad at pitying myself and like saying, well, okay, I'm just gonna be negative today because this didn't go the way I wanted. And what good is faith? I'm telling you that because I think that's a real emotion we all feel and we go through. And I feel like it goes through seasons. Like, I'll have seasons where I'm like, God is moving mountains for me. He is my all. He is protecting me. And then we go through some where we feel vulnerable and we feel like we aren't really looked out for. And that's okay. That's okay. Don't eat that. Puppy problems. I just want to tell you that because I'm even having a season right now where I am really lacking in my faith. And it's been hard. So I just don't want to come off that I'm always like rocky. No, sorry. That I'm coming off like I'm always positive and always have faith, because that's just not real life. I think the enemy tries to come in and take our faith away, but it's how we come back to the cross that matters. It's how we lay it all out at his feet at the end of the season we're in or the end of the day. That's what matters. So I just want to tell you, if you are feeling like you don't have enough faith, get in the Word. I know it's hard when you don't feel motivated, but seriously, just make time for getting in the Word and reading his true promises, and the fruit of his promises will really help you. So I hope that answered your assumption. Okay, the next one is, you like iced tea. I don't like any sort of tea. I know I'm in the South and I hate sweet tea. Do you know how much flack I get for that? I hate sweet tea. My whole family loves it. I hate it. And like, I've tried to do like any sorts of tea and I just can't. I don't like tea. So if you have any tea recommendations, if you are a fellow non-tea lover, leave them down below. Please. The next assumption, sorry, I just went straight into that. The next assumption is you love your young followers and support them. I love this so much because I truly do. And it kind of puts a sort of, I want to say pressure, or like I feel like I have to meet a certain thing because I know so many young people are in my audience, like young people are in my audience, that I want to be the best role model I can be for them. And I want to be open with them So it's like that constant battle is like, how raw can I get? Because I know little ones are watching. But I also think it's a privilege and it is a blessing that God has blessed me with such a young audience, included with my age or like even older, because I was there once, and I wish, like, I try to be the person I wish I would have had looking up to on social media, especially because when I was a kid, social media wasn't like this. Like, this is a different world, and I just try to be that person for somebody, if that makes sense. So yes, I love you. If you are one of my, I love all of my followers, but I especially adore my young followers, because you guys are the most encouraging, you're the most sweet, and you just, I've gotten so many messages where you say like, I want to do this when I grow up, or I want to start it now. I have 15-year-olds that are selling things on Etsy and are doing amazing. Keep doing, you guys. You're gonna conquer the world. Sorry if the angle's a little off. I had to change the battery. So the next assumption is that I get this assumption all the time, and I like to say no, is you are very well organized. If you could see what was behind this camera. I am not organized. I want to be organized so bad. And honestly, I think it's because I'm mostly a average or unhealthy Enneagram 4. And I'm gonna own up to it. So on the Enneagram, you pull from other numbers in health and stress. And as a 4, I pull from 1 in health. And 1s are the reformers. They are organized. They want things in a certain order. They want things to be done their way. They want them in it, like, not in a bad way, but like, you want it done and you want it organized. I want that so bad. So I can tell when I'm having a healthy season or having a healthy day when I get productive, I get organized, but that's not me all the time. But that's just inner work I have to do on myself, because I want to be organized so bad, but my brain's always just like, like, I'm just going a million. I can't focus on one thing. It's a lot. But I just want to tell you guys, I'm not always organized. Instagram pics are staged. They're staged. I'm only showing you a little bit of what I want to see. So hopefully that's transparent enough for you guys. Okay. Make sure I didn't miss any. The next one is you are married. I am married. 6 years, February, married to my dork of a husband, but I love him so much. He's like a big kid. It's fun. He's a 7-wing 6. 7-wing 6 with a 4-wing 5. It's fun. It's fun in this house. Okay. I have like 4 more. The next one is you've always had some sort of relationship with Jesus. Now, I want to bring this back to the assumption I had, I always have faith. I always have faith, because that's not true. That being said, I have always had an I don't want to say open, but I've always had some sort of relationship with Jesus. I talk about this in one of my, I think it's my Brush and Barley episode on my podcast. It's my first ever episode. I didn't grow up in a family where we went to church every Sunday, and it was like, that's what we did. I did grow up with a family with a very spiritual mother who just taught me about Jesus, and I just knew he was there. Like, I can't explain it. I just remember, from as far as I can remember back, I've always had an open dialogue with him. I've always been talking to Jesus. I've always known he's been there. I remember, like, the first time I moved into my own room at like 4 years old and stopped, because my dad was gone a lot, because he like basically lived on the road because he worked on the road. So I slept with my mom up to 4 or 5 years old. And I remember, like, vividly, like, I didn't go to church a lot. I did not go to church a lot as a child. And just from what my mother told me, like, I remember vividly moving to my new bedroom and me having a bad dream, and all of a sudden my first instinct when I woke up was to pray to Jesus and my guardian angels. Like, that's vividly in my mind, and I just want to say that because I really feel like I've always had a relationship with him. Yes, I've had seasons where I push him away. I'm even in a season like now where I'm battling, like, accepting him in. But the relationship part, it's always been there. Even if it's been a relationship where we're a little further apart, I still talk to him daily, and I always have as long as I can remember. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's really, really cool that even though we weren't a church-going family, and like my parents didn't instill going to church to me, like, just from what like my mother taught me or just talked to me about, like, I had always felt like Jesus was the one all for me to go to in times of need. So I hope that answered that assumption. You miss painting. I do miss painting. I actually got tons of things from Hobby Lobby like 3 weeks ago and I've yet to pick it up because honestly I haven't had the time. I miss painting so much. So for those who don't know, I started this business doing acrylic and watercolor painting. That's all I did by hand and I miss it so much. I need to try to find some way to incorporate it back, whether that's me selling paintings and just selling what I have, like of the paintings, like original paintings, something, because I miss it so much. So if that's something you guys think I should do, leave them down below. I even thought about recreating my rainbows in acrylic paint. That would be cool. That would, like my honeybee rain, you can barely see it. My honeybee rainbow, my artist rainbow, things like that. So I don't know. I do miss painting. And it's funny that this assumption went to the next one because somebody said, I think they were feeling sassy. They said, you cannot draw on normal paper, only an iPad. Not true. I'm probably not as good as I used to be on paper, but I started with dip pen calligraphy, watercolor, and acrylic. So I can definitely draw off the iPad. I'm probably a little rusty, but that's how I started. When I started doing logos before I had my iPad, it was me watercoloring work, doing dip pen calligraphy, scanning it, bringing it into Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop and cleaning it up, turning it into a logo. So I'd like to challenge you on that. Okay, this is the last one. First, I just want to say you guys have been so lighthearted in these and I appreciate it so much. I was so scared. When I told my husband I put this box up, he was like, looked at me like, okay, I'm gonna have a crying wife on the couch tonight because I'm so sensitive. So, thank you guys. So this last one, it said, you were a teen in the 90s, but wish you were a teen in the 70s. So, I was a baby in the 90s. I was a teen in the 2009, 2014 era. That being said, I was the youngest of my family and I was the late baby. So my parents were both remarried before they had me. My dad had a son, my mom had a daughter and a son, and then they came together and had me. So my youngest sibling closest to me was like 13, 14 when I was born. So that being said, in the 90s, I grew up with teenagers. Like I grew up watching Britney Spears and who else? There's another artist that I can think of, Linkin Park. Like that's like vivid memories of my childhood, like hanging out in my sister's room with her friends, listening to Britney Spears, listening to Linkin Park, and just like having the time of our lives. And but I just want to preface that I was not a teen in the 90s. But you are true in the fact that if I could go to any era and be a teenager, it would be the 70s. Me and my mom talk about this all the time. My mom graduated high school in 77, and like from what I wear, since I like to dress like hippie-ish, kind of like a 4, like an Enneagram 4, she was like, she regrets all the time we talk about how she didn't keep any of her 70s like wardrobe, because I would be wearing it like everywhere. I would be wearing bell bottoms, like velvet bell bottoms. I would be living in that because the 70s, late 60s, like 70s, I've always like wanted to be a teenager then. Like just the aesthetic. I know that sounds bad, but the aesthetic of the 70s, I just, I do love the 70s. So you are definitely right about that, but I was not a teen in the 90s. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I just want to thank you so much again for being so nice and kind. This was just a little filler. I wanted to upload something on YouTube this week, some sort of intentional content, but this was pretty much all my brain and like my energy had to do, but I think it'll be fun. I hope you learned a little bit more about me. I'm gonna leave my podcast down below because I have tons of good content talking about like just my life and just like assumptions I probably get every day, and tons of business tools for fellow creatives as well. So make sure you check that out below. A quick reminder about the Procreate course that launched Tuesday, but that will be only for 3 weeks. It's only gonna be open 3 weeks. Probably will not come back till the fall. So the last day to get that before doors close is April 6th. So make sure you get that while you can. But other than that, I appreciate you guys so much, and I thank you for being here every day. Let me know down below if there's anything else you want to see, any questions you have, and I would love to answer them. Bye, guys.
Oh, you say hello to my friends. Say hello, Rocky.
No.
Hey, Rocky.
You can't see Elwoods.